Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Happy Tuesday. I hope you are all doing well. Or wait, today's Tuesday, right? Yeah, I think. Like my days are rolling into one. Like, what is today? But anyway, whatever day it is, hope you're having a great day, doing whatever it is you're doing, gallivanting around the world. Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. This is Petal. As you know, we are a channel that supports our faves. Harry and Meghan. And whatever else they're doing, they're quiet right now. We're doing whatever it is they're doing. I know a lot of it, as pertain to them, are mostly about Harry's court cases in the UK right now. So that's pretty much it for them. And we're going to touch on that for just a tad today. I mean, it's all been about Harry's court case. Meghan has been silent. Good for her. No need to, whatever it is she's doing, whatever is working on her projects, or just, getting ready for the holidays. Whatever she's doing, we hope that they are quiet in their bubble and not dealing with the nonsense on Shutter Island. So that is what we pray for them always. But before we get into stuff, I was just say hello to my friends in the chat. Hello, you guys. How are you today? Who's in the chat? Oh, Church Nelly is here. Hey, Church Nelly. How are you? It's like, hello to all the squaddies around the world and beyond. And hello to all of our wonderful squaddies in South Carolina who are out there with Church Nelly. And who else is in the chat today? Fancy's here. Hello, Fancy. Fancy. And Alma's here. And Perlina is here. Hello, Perlina. And Laris is here. Rafaela. Hello, Rafaela. And Annie is here. And who else is here? Alma, we got you. Alma's here. And wait. Let's see who else is here. Maybe that's Nalo Thandu is here. Hello, Nalo Thandu, hanging out with us from South Africa. I almost said Italy. I was like, oh, wait a minute. No, Nalo Thandu is in South Africa. What am I talking about? Nalo Thandu, I'm giving you a vacation to Italy. So there you go. Hello, Lottie. How are you? Lottie is here. And Black Queen is here. Awesome moderator is here. Hello. I see myself in the chat. I'm here. I'm present. Hello, Joyce. How are you? And our awesome moderator, Karen M, is here. Hello, Karen M. And Sonia and Mia Sylvester. Hello. And MLC is here. And Joyce and... Oh, wait. I don't think I've seen you here before. Is that Sekai? Oh, I love that. If it's Sekai or Sekai. Either way, I love it. Very cool. And Sonia is here. And we'll just say hello to everyone else as they come in. Oh, I see you here, Sandra and Janet and Rhonda. Hello, guys. Welcome. So since a lot of our friends are here, and Karen, I see you there too, and Tara. I see you guys, and Rhonda. Hi, and Janet. I could just say hello to everyone all afternoon as they pump in. So I am glad you guys are all here. Anyway, so what is going on? It's so funny. I ran into this article, the Financial Times article about David Sherborne, who's Prince Harry's attorney. Obviously, we know Prince Harry and Elton John and Baroness Lawrence and all of them who are suing. God, they have so many court cases, like, they're suing the Mirror and then the Sun and the Daily Mail. Actually, Harry's attorney for the Daily Mail is different. One of his suits against the Daily Mail is different. The one that's for the libel suit with the security, that's I think her name is something Shaheen. I forgot what her first name is, but she is something Shaheen QC. Yeah. I forgot what her first name is. So it's a little bit different because Harry has so many court cases, like it's hard to keep up with which is which sometimes. But for the majority of them, David Sherborne is his attorney, and that is David. That's David there with the fabulous hair. And I'm looking at David's hair. I'm like, Harry may want to talk to you about, all right, squaddies, I know you're going to be mad at me. Every time I talk about Harry's hair, I get people yelling at me like, stop talking about his hair. Leave his hair alone. So fine. But it was just a thought that, Harry could get a little bit of David's hair. I'm sorry. Okay, that's bad. Okay, I'm sorry. I know I'm going to get yelled at in the chat or in the comments, so I am apologizing now. It was a thought. It was a bad thought, but it was a thought. So there you go. I don't know. David's hair is fabulous. And it's funny because that's one of the things he is, to his fellow barristers, I guess they call them barristers in the UK, whatever, his hair and his tan. And I mean, there's a lot of jealousy. They're very petty there too. There's a lot of jealousy with his hair and his, very celebrity-like. And they're jealous of him for his hair. They're jealous of his tan. They're jealous because he's always with his clients, and they're always hugging and stuff outside because, they feel like he's kind of some kind of a celebrity, or he's trying to be some kind of a celebrity because a lot of his clients are celebrities, or at least very high profile people. And I was like, gosh, that is just a little bit so petty. But it's very funny. It's a really cool, it's a really good article actually, because I didn't know anything about David Sherborne other than the fact that he is Harry's attorney. And he started out being Meghan's attorney when she was suing the Mail on Sunday, and then Meghan switched. Because I think David had so many court cases, especially those hacking cases against pretty much all the tabloids. And so and Meghan did well in switching to a new attorney, which obviously we know she won. And so David has won tons of money. And according to the article, it's just a little piece of the article. It's not, I wouldn't say like it's extremely long, but it's, if you'd like to read it, let me know. I'll send you the link, or you can find it. Just type in Financial Times and David Sherborne, and you will be able to pull it up. So I'm just going to move my little banner and also my little thingy there. There we go. If you have not, joined or subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. That's what the banner said. Go do what the banner said, and click, like and share the video, please. Would be very helpful. Would be most appreciated, really. And if you're able to join the channel too, that would be really awesome. So definitely. So a little bit about David. Says celebrity lawyer David Sherborne, as he's saying to himself, I regard myself as on the side of the angels. And I love that. I love how he thinks of his clients as the angels. And you'll see in a second. We'll read a little bit about, him talking about being on the side of his clients. And that's one of the things that they are very much, his fellow barristers are, I guess, a little bit aggravated because it's always like he's always with his clients. I mean, if you're a lawyer, you would think that would be like a no-brainer, that you'd want to be by the side of your clients. You'd want to be right there with them wherever they are. You'd think that would be part of your job, but apparently not with some of them. It says the barrister on acting for Johnny Depp and Prince Harry, his battle over phone hacking, and why the super famous are human beings too. So that's some of what the article covers. And so it talks a little bit about the Harry's hacking court case. It says the hacking affair has cost Rupert Murdoch's News Corp newspapers £1.2 billion, including £128 million in the latest financial year. Mirror Newspapers, the publisher of the Daily Mail, has spent £100 million on settlements. 55 million of which has gone to the claimant's lawyers, including Sherborne, whose hacking work, and it goes on and talks about a bit. It says whose hacking work is a no-win, no fee. So, because I know like some in the British press were like, oh my gosh, how much is costing Harry to do this court case, especially because these lawyers are very expensive and all of that stuff. I didn't realize this. This was a no-win. You don't get a fee unless you win. And he wins so much, he doesn't need a fee because, again, it's like 55 million of that, 100 million went to them. Him and his other lawyers who are part of the, suing the tabloids. And so this is amazing. It's like, yeah, no fee. It's like whose hacking work is no win, no fee. Following a trial earlier this year, it is waiting to hear whether it will have to pay out to others, including Prince Harry. So we'll see. I mean, we know that it's going to trial. So hey, we will see. I think we're still waiting on the we're waiting on the results, I guess, for the Mirror. And I'm like, there are too many court cases. My brain can't remember all of which is where, or what stage all of them are. So when they come up, we'll chat with it. But it's very interesting to know about that, because I didn't realize, and also didn't realize just how, I didn't realize it had gone to 1.2 billion for, and I'm very happy to see that they're having to pay out. But again, 1.2 billion is, for all the, hundreds of cases that that they've settled. And you would think that these news outlets would learn, and it seems like they just don't learn. They just they just continue to do the same thing, and people are continuing to sue them. And so you have David Sherborne, and again, he represents high profile people, but he also represents people that have no profile at all. And some of them are rich people who, rich people just have no profile. They don't need it. And so they just don't have one. In terms of popularity or any of that stuff, or in the media eye or anything like that stuff. So he talks a little bit about Harry and how he and Harry got to start working together. And he says, in June, Prince Harry became the first British royal to sit in a witness box in 130 years. He said he'd got the idea of hacking claims from meeting Sherborne, a lovely fellow, Harry called him a lovely fellow, at Elton John and David Finish's house in France. Well, I didn't encourage him to do anything. I was there and he was there, and I don't have to encourage anyone to bring a suit, to be honest. Even everyone is keen to bring a claim. So, he's like, well, I didn't have to push him. I was there. He was there. We were chatting, and, I have to push him. He wanted to do it. So there you go. That's all that there is to that. And I also didn't know, he talks about, because a lot of the attorneys or barristers, they have that QC, which I guess is the Queen Counsel. And I know it's a king, so maybe it's KC, I guess, which is the king or queen counsel at the end of their name, those title things. And so turns out he is the only one of his stature among all of his peers that doesn't have that royal, thing next to his name. And so it's they asked him about that, and he says, unlike every other barrister of his renown, Sherborne hasn't acquired the status of Queen or King's Counsel. Why? And he says, I never really wanted to be a QC. I did apply once about 15 years ago. I'm sorry, I did apply once about 15 years ago because I thought my dad would like it. I had this interview and I was asked the question, do you think you put your relationship with your client above your relationship with your peers? I was honestly quite shocked by it. And I answered, I thought that was what we were meant to do. Apparently, that was not the right answer. So he never did get his Queen's QC next to his name. But I would love to hear from you guys. What do you think, when them asking that question, do you put your peers above your clients? And he's thinking, well, obviously you put your clients. That's what we're supposed to do. And he never got the QC. It's just like, and so he's like, well, apparently that wasn't the right. And he has proven throughout his career that he puts his clients first. And he's not going to put his peer first. And I know what I think when I hear that. I'd love to hear what you guys think about that. What you think when you heard that. He didn't get it because he put his clients first as opposed to his peers first. It's like, very interesting. And another thing they talked about is the fact that, and I didn't know this either, that he also was a victim of tabloid press intrusion. And so I'm like, no wonder he's so passionate about it, because it says actually Tom Bauer, it says Tom Bauer, we know that horrible man. Tom Bauer described Sherborne as media hating. And so Sherborne says, I don't hate the media at all, he protests. Even so, he may have motivation to keep pursuing privacy claims. In 2013, he had presented victims of press intrusion at Leveson inquiry into press ethics. The tabloid revealed he had a relationship with one of the inquiry barristers. The couple insisted that they had gone on an island of Santorini to discuss the possibility of a future relationship, and that their romance itself didn't begin until after the inquiry reports were published. The Sun milked it, offering two romantic readers their own holiday to Santorini. There were paparazzi, there was doorstepping. That added fuel to the fire, said one person who knew Sherborne. Was he a victim of press intrusion? Yeah, there were things done, and there was not and that was not nice to the people around me. Some people said to me, you understand what your clients go through, and it's true. But I knew that already. It was intended to undermine the inquiry. I felt very badly for the other person involved because they did absolutely nothing wrong. It was so obviously political, and the couple, him and the other person, the woman, we were separated. Sherborne is twice divorced. And so again, now I understand why he's so passionate about it, is because he was also the victim of press intrusion. And so since that, we know what Leveson is, the whole trial was about hacking and all of that stuff. What did they do? Go and invade the privacy of go and invade the privacy of one of the lawyers to try to undermine him and undermine the case and all of that stuff. And we see this so often. I mean, look at what they're doing to, case in point, Omid. How every single thing that he says or done, they try to undermine him with, oh no, he is just a friend of the Sussexes. Therefore, and so everything to undermine. So he has every reason to go after them. And now we're hearing that the Sun has already paid out 1.2 billion to clients of his and others. It's like, talk about just revenge, totally just revenge. And he says, one of the things he talked about, he says, I have no sympathy for the media organization who says it is awful that they have to go through these trials. There are ways to deal with it, and they choose to cover it up and not admit it. So of course, the process is going to be painful. And so, yeah. So David, it's actually really cool to see, to see just a little bit into his life. And he talks about being a barrister, and his dad was also a barrister, and doing everything in his power to try to impress his dad or to get approval from his dad. And his dad, would not get approval from him at all. One of the reasons he even tried, as he said, tried to get the QC was because he thought it would make his dad proud. Nothing. And so he had and I think, if you want to look at ways that him and Harry may have bonded, it's over situations like that, where they had like really not the best fathers in these situations. And so he attributes, like he said, here it says, Sherborne attributes his own drive to his father, a criminal barrister, for whom no result I ever got was good enough. I was always trying to please him. Sherborne Sr. was quite a Victorian. He wanted me to call him sir, and I ain't gonna be calling him sir. You can see that rebelliousness, And but now at 92, with all the things that he is, I guess, accomplished, now at 92, his father is finally approving, and he said now his dad is his biggest fan, doing what he's doing now. But it's so wild that so many people have the same, I don't know, horrible relationship with their dads. And it's just so I would think that would be something, even taking Harry's case would be something that they bonded over, just dealing with just problematic parents and especially fathers, so it was just really cool to find to know those things about him. It's like, oh, he's actually a really cool guy. And and his thing is like, look, I feel like being with my clients is like I'm on the side of angels. Like he thinks of them as angels, and that he is fighting on the side of them. And that's why a lot of them hate him, because he's so passionate about his clients, as he should be. I mean, you would think your whole job, I mean, your one job is to represent and be there for your client. I mean, if nothing else, that's what they're paying you to do. You wouldn't think people would hate him. His fellow barristers would hate him. I mean, if they're hating him for that? Like, what are they doing with their clients? And to see that that's the reason why he didn't get a QC. But it's good for him. He's like, yeah, it's not something I ever wanted. And then, without that, he's not tainted by royal stuff. He does not have to cave to them. He does not owe them anything. And so for me, I'm like, you stay without it, dude. So, and look at how much he's winning. So I thought that was really cool. But I just wanted to, if you, thought about it, like what you think about him when they're like, the question was, do you side with your, with your peers? Would you side with your peers over your clients? And then he put, obviously the clients, and that wasn't the right answer. And I think he's being kind in saying it that way, because, I know what I think about that. But anyway, Deb says, in the US, you have a certain duty to your clients, not your peers. Exactly, which you would think would be everywhere. That would be the situation in everywhere. But it's just like, why would I side with my peer over my client? That just unbelievable. Let's see if anybody else has. Terry says, he has integrity because he values his clients. Exactly. Let's see. Kanita says, that's a lie. Barrister David Sherborne was Princess Diana's divorce lawyer, and that's why he isn't KQC. I mean, that could be one of them, but he is telling why, he actually applied, and he put that he values, and that's his. I mean, I can't tell the guy he's lying when that's what he says. That's his experience. But I mean, I'm sure this is partly to do with it too. When you had Princess Diana's lawyer, and you're thinking, well, it's the Queen Counsel and your Princess Diana's lawyer. I'm sure that probably played a part. Whether he applied before, or I mean, I don't know. But well, actually 15 years, then it would have been after Diana. So but yeah, so I'm sure this played a role in there too. But for him, his reasoning, that's what he believes that happened because of that answer. So yeah. So, I mean, I can't tell him he's lying when it's his story. So there you go. But again, Kenita, I'm sure this probably played a role in there. Let's see. But it's really cool. And that he is, to talk about understanding Harry even more, is that, and understanding his situation, is that he represented his mom. And it's just like, oh, full circle there. So yeah. Let's see. Lottie says, I thought I saw somewhere that Harry has to pay $50 million. Is that true? I have no idea. I don't know where you read it. And $50 million for what exactly? What is he paying $50 million for? I don't know. I had never read that. So maybe you want to tell us. I mean, I haven't been on Twitter in the last, I don't know, hour. So maybe. Tiger Cub says, I saw that Harry has to pay the Daily Mail attorney fee, £50,000, because the judge decided in the Mail's favor about the case going to trial or something. Oh, okay. Well, Lottie says 50 million, so 50,000. Okay, so I guess Harry decided not to continue the case. So okay, so I guess that and I'm assuming that's the libel case. So he is paying the attorney fee since I guess he decided to not not to pursue it further. Okay, so I guess it's 50,000, not 50 million. 50 million would be a lot. So again, I haven't been on X in about an hour and something, so I didn't see it. So thank you for that. Let's see. Okay, so let's move on. This was good news for learning about David. Not good that Harry has to pay the Daily Mail court fees, but you win some, you lose some in these things. So there. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, Lottie's like, I stand corrected. That's okay. That's okay. That's why we're here. Sometimes we get it we're a little bit off, and that's why we have a very knowledgeable community. So when we're off, others can give us the right information. So yeah. But anyway, what else is happening? So I wasn't even going to talk about this nonsense because I was just like, I saw it. I mean, as a photographer, I didn't see anything wrong with the photo. I mean, I know some people were like, oh my gosh, it's black and white, and the whole drama with black and white photos and all that stuff. I mean, look, as a photographer looking at that, I'm like, it's a fine photo. I didn't see anything wrong with the photo, just looking at it like that, the lines are good. For me personally, I love black and white. I love the textured background. I mean, it looks like there are, sort of like a background draping over the floor and all of that stuff. So it's not the Christmassiest thing you can see, but everybody is different in their taste. And I mean, I just thought it was cool. It was different. And, I don't know if they've ever done black and white before. I hadn't paid attention to all of their photos. So I didn't know if they had ever done black and white before. So, I just looked at it and it was totally fine. I was like, okay, whatever. The kids are beautiful. I love that the kids are they're growing and they're beautiful kids. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was going on. And then I ran into, and it's not something that I happened upon on my own because I just saw it and I thought it was nice and I moved on. And then I just kept running into these these posts on X, and it was just like, what happened to his finger? Little Louis's finger. And apparently, if you look at the circle, is little Louis looks like he's missing his finger there. And I remember us doing, I think it was last year, I think there was a photo, I think right around when the Queen passed, they had posted a photo with the Queen and all of her grandchildren, obviously minusing Lily and Archie, but the rest of the grandchildren around the Queen. And little Louis was there. We talked about that, where you could tell, I mean, as anybody who's ever, done photo editing or anything like that, you could tell that they added little Louis in. And because when you look at the source of the lighting, how everybody's lights was one way and little Louis's lighting source was in a different direction. So they photoshopped little Louis in, and we talked about it. I mean, if you've ever taught kids or tried to photograph kids, it's a nightmare. Kids are the squirmiest things in the world. They're a little rambunctious thing, and to try to get them all together to sit still for a photo, it is traumatic. It's traumatic for them, and it's traumatic for the photographer. I know. I taught them. I taught from 15 months to 2.5 years. I know the trauma of trying to get kids together to do a photo. And so it very much, you could tell that they photoshopped little Louis. And I gave them a pass, but you could tell. So this time around, it's little Louis's finger. It's like, what happened to little Louis's finger? And it just like his little middle finger there is gone missing somewhere. And so it's very, and I don't know. I'm like, did they Photoshop little Louis in again? Just from looking at it, it looked fine until you realize little Louis's finger is gone missing. And then when you look at the bottom, and look, it could be his leg, but when you, and it's kind of dark here. I think my version of it is a little bit dark, even though I can see a little bit of the shoe in the front, the little white at the bottom where the circle is. For a little one, I don't know how old he is. Is he 4 or 5? I don't even know if he's 5 yet. I don't remember how old he is. But it looks like a little bit, that leg in the bottom there looks a little bit large for a little 4 or 5 year old. Like the width of it looks a little bit, I mean, I could be wrong, but it looks a little bit large for a little one like that. And it could be the shadowing and then his dad's black pants in the back, sort of making it look larger than it is. Could be, and it could be from the direction of the where the light source is. It creates a shadow in the back of his leg, so it makes it look a little bit larger. I don't know, but it's like it just looks a little off. But I mean, it could be just totally fine, and it just could be the lighting, because sometimes lighting makes things look different. And so, and if you're not a photographer, you're not paying attention to it, you wouldn't notice it. But somebody with an eye would notice it. Again, even I, again, from first look, I just looked at it and moved on. I didn't decide to go zooming in on it. But definitely the finger part of it, even the Daily Mail, who is obviously their paper of choice, and who they do these calendars with them, had to call them out. And it's like, Kate Middleton and Prince William's annual Christmas card appears to suffer a Photoshop fail, leaving Louis without a middle finger. I was like, and that's the thing with photoshopping. And look, I don't. Leslie says, and there's another leg naked under the chair, the right side of Charlotte. And that looks like Kate's leg, and it could be, and that is another one, because they're saying it kind of is weird. I gave that one a pass right under there, because it looks like her right leg is forward, and she could have had it in a kind of a ballet, that sort of ballet way you can hold your leg sort of going out, and it kind of looked like that. I mean, I gave it a pass and just assumed, but others are like, well, where's her other leg? And I'm like, okay, well, maybe it could be behind her. That's why I'm trying to give this picture a whole lot of passes. The only thing you can't give us a pass is little Louis' missing finger. Because, and you can be like, well, where's William's other foot? And it's like, okay, maybe it's hidden behind a chair, and maybe it's hidden behind Charlotte's foot. And so I'm trying to give this picture a whole lot of passes, because anything could anything could happen. And little Louis is is wearing shorts or whatever. But it's and that's the thing with these. I mean, look, everyone, I mean, if you're a photographer, you've done editing of photos and all of that stuff. But I think when the thing that I don't give a pass to is when this is a full-time photographer. These people make tons of money. They have the best equipment. They have the best lighting. They have all of this stuff. This isn't a studio, so you're not depending on, natural light where anything could happen outside. It's very unpredictable when you're using natural light and all of that stuff. When you're in a controlled environment with controlled lighting, and you're in a studio, so everything is controlled, I have a hard time excusing photoshopping people's images. I just have a very hard time with that, because I'm like, leave photoshopping for people like, say, me, who have very inferior camera, because I can't afford the stuff that they have. And most of the time I shoot outside. And I mean, I don't really, other than when I'm filming, doing on-set photography, like for a film or for video, then I'm, if it's shot inside, and I'm going to be outside. But I'm mostly more outside doing stuff. And very rarely would I take photos of people. I wouldn't take photos like this. That's not my thing. But if you're in that controlled environment where you have everything going for you, I never understood a lot of the photoshopping that's done. Like, when you look at Meghan Harry and a lot of his stuff, the only thing he plays with, he doesn't Photoshop his images. The only thing he plays with is lights. Well, because he does a lot of black and white stuff, and the only thing he plays with light and shadows in his photos, and he doesn't Photoshop people's images. And I love that. And so I don't understand why you'd be messing with photo when you have all that stuff right there available in a studio, that you're gonna be messing with Photoshop. Unless you're playing with, lights and dark images. Like, I don't even understand that. So that's why I got, for me, I got a little bit irritated with this. I'm like, dude, really? I mean, again, unless I would only understand this unless they had to Photoshop little Louis in, because there is nothing to this image. It's just somebody sitting on a chair and the family around him, unless little Louis was being rambunctious and they had to Photoshop him in there. That's the only way. Again, Photoshopping kids, especially little Louis, seem to be a rambunctious little one. I can understand that, but if you're just out there all just sitting there and you still have to, I mean, come on, really? But anyways, stuff happens. So notice everyone. I mean, if you're Photoshopping this, always zoom in. Make sure if you're editing photos, always zoom in on everything in your photo, because just with your natural eye, with it as a regular, you'll miss so much. And so if you don't zoom in, you won't catch a lot of the mistakes. Like, sometimes I would Photoshop something for, like, I would put it on one of these slides and I would take the background off of it. And when I was using the old system, I had to go in and clean up around everything, that image that I take the background off. Now, Canva, you can just take the background off and it does such a clean job and you don't really have to deal. But even then, you still have to go in and make sure, zoom in to make sure you either clean up or you didn't miss something, so very interesting. But and this is the guy who did their photos, and I looked at his Instagram. It's actually really kind of cool. He does these drawings before along with the photo, and so it gives you sort of his idea, or what he's thinking about the image. And I'm like, oh, that's actually kind of cool. I love these kind of different way of thinking about things. And I was like, oh, that's actually kind of cool. So he's the one that did it. Professional photographer. I think he works with a bunch of different magazines and stuff like that. So again, which is why I'm like, dude, you have all this experience. You don't need to be messing with Photoshop. Let them be natural. And so apart from this, that got me thinking about our faves that do, and no competition, or like this one is better or this one. They're just different things. And I actually, if you're just looking at their photo on the whole, I like the photo. It's a cute photo of their family, and I have no problems other than the little photoshopping errors there. It's a cool photo. But I saw the photo in the middle, and I didn't know this one existed, of William and Harry. And I was like, oh, I had no idea. And it looks like 1992. And you can see that, I guess that's Charles and Diana as part of the card there. But someone posted it on Twitter, and I was like, oh, or X. And I was like, oh, I had no idea that existed. And it's very much, I guess they could have had their inspiration from this, with especially like the textured background and the chair in the middle, and one of the kids, obviously that's William, sitting in the chair, and the textured background. So they could have gotten inspiration from that. I was like, well, that's actually a really cute photo. I actually like it. And so then I was remembering, Harry and Meghan's two black and white photos. I remember the stink the British press threw when Harry and Meghan did the first one, the one on the right, actually. I think that was right after their wedding, that the 2018 Christmas 2018, where people were just nasty, and that's when they started really attacking the Sussexes for all kinds of made up stuff. And when they put out this photo, there was all this attacking that it wasn't Christmas enough, that it was, how dare they put out a black and white photo, it's not, it was just all this vitriol attacking them. And then it got even worse, the 2019, when I think one of Meghan's friends took this photo of them in Canada, and there was all of this hubbub about Meghan, that it was photoshopped, and that they photoshopped Meghan's face. It was just all of this drama from the press, especially the Daily Mail, where what's her name? Meghan's friend who took the photo. You guys go, Janina, I think her name was Janina. I think that's what her name was. Meghan's friend who had to literally come out and really rebuke the press for just the ridiculousness of talking about, oh, Meghan, they photoshopped her face. How come her face is clearer than her? And it's just like, okay, these people know nothing about photography at all. I don't have to Photoshop someone's face. If it's lighter, I could just literally put, put something on it and make it clearer. It's just all. You didn't have to Photoshop it. You could isolate the areas that you want to make clearer, or if that's the case, whatever. But I think someone in the press actually edited the shot, and then that is the one that kept going around when the original didn't have it. So, and I don't even have the original. This is one where I think they had made Meghan's face clearer, and that's the one that's kept going around. And I couldn't find the original where pretty much all of it was the same. But it was just all of this think about this whole thing, and it's very interesting how it's almost a joke now with how they're reporting on Kate and William's faux pas today, and how nasty and just malicious and aggressive they were with the Sussexes when they claimed that they Photoshop, which they didn't. And Janina, you can correct me again if I'm wrong. I think her name was Janina or Janine. I don't remember. Who really had to come like, no, I took that photo. It's not Photoshopped. And the fact that she even had to come out and say that, it was just like, oh my goodness. So, but anyways, it's very interesting. But I mean, for me, I like all of them. I love black and white photos, and there are ways to do black and white photos that it could be part of Christmas. I mean, you don't have to just have that picture. You can have it, you can put it and fit it into anything with any kind of Christmassy decorations, and it looked great. So yeah, so I love the idea of black and white. So, but again, when you're dealing with photoshopping, be careful. Because if you don't zoom in, you can miss a lot. And it's so funny with all the people who would have seen that photo and missed the fact that little Louis is missing his little fingers. Just like, it was very funny. Rafaela says, Mia, no card Christmas 2023 of the Sussexes. I hope not. I mean, I would be surprised if they did. If they did, it's fine. But if they didn't, I would, if they don't do, with all the nastiness that, I just, maybe a generic one with just Merry Christmas and not putting their kids out there, because again, this climate is just, there's so much vitriol out there. Who would want to put their kids out there for them to, now that the Cambridges have this big error, they'll need something from Meghan and Harry to rip apart so that they can hide the fact that the Cambridges did a boo-boo on their photo. So if I were Harry and Meghan, I would not even deal with it. Let them stay with their nonsense over there, because they need someone to throw under the bus to hide what happened with the Cambridges. So yeah. Or I keep saying the Cambridges, the Waleses. I'm still not used to them being Wales yet. So yeah. Mia said, she said, no, Dad, Baron was showing the Christmas card from past years. The Sussexes did not bring a card out yet. Oh, yeah, no, they haven't. And I hope they don't. I really, really hope they don't. And if they did, just a Merry Christmas, no pictures of the kids or anything like that. Just keep their kids safe and private. So, yeah. And again, I say that, and then all of a sudden, they'll have one, No, Church Nelly! She's like, wonder if I can Photoshop Nacho onto my Christmas card. Well, your husband might have an issue with that. Or maybe you want to hide it from him. So, yeah. Kim Peaches says, little Megan's friend who took the picture was Janina Gavinkar. There you go. Janina. Yeah, that's who it was. Janina Gavinkar. She's an actress, and I couldn't really remember. I haven't heard of her in a while. And so, yeah. So thank you so much, Kim. Yes, Janina, that's why I love our community. Like, when I don't remember stuff, y'all know who it is I'm talking about. So thank you. I appreciate that. Annie says, no card, no Christmas card needed this year. If so, do it without the kids. Exactly. That is exactly what I'm thinking as well. And I would even go as far to say, do it without any of them. Just do a Merry Christmas and some flowers or something, or, some Christmas ornaments. And that's it. No need to put anybody on a card. Because the British press, they are desperately needing someone to throw under the bus. And why give them? So yeah. Let's see. Lola Love says, I hope they don't either. Although I would love to see Archie and Lilibet. I hope they don't send out any photos. I think we're all in that same boat. Yeah. It's like, no, please keep our baby safe. This is a good idea. Trishnelli says, picture of the dogs. Very good idea. Yeah. Very, very good idea. That would be cute. With their little ornaments running around with it. Yeah. Or a little video with the dogs. That would be very cute. So yeah, let them go attack some dogs. Amazing. Let's see. Oh, Kim says, Meghan should have designed and write greetings with her beautiful handwriting. Exactly. And of course, we'll have those body language or handwriting experts telling us all the meanings of Meg. I could never forget that. Telling us what the meaning of Meghan's handwriting. Oh my God, this island is so fake. I'm like, is that an island? Is that a country? Craziness. Hello, Alicia Cato says, no Christmas card are needed this year. There you go. It's a deal. Yep. So Harry and Meghan, if you are listening to this podcast, which I know you're not because you don't even know where we exist, but just on the odd chance that you are viewing, if you came on YouTube and you are viewing this podcast, no photos. And if you do, a dog, Lola Love is giving you exactly what you need to put on the card. Dogs, chickens, rabbit. There you go. That's it. Whatever else animals or fish that you have in your house, then yes, those. No children, not you. And he's like, yeah, dogs and chickens. So our faves have got their assignment. If you're doing a card, that's what we want on the card. So there you go. That would be kind of cool, actually. That would be absolutely cool. So anyways, let's see what else I got. Thank you, Annie. It's like dogs and chickens. What else I got? I guess, nepotism doesn't always work, does it? They're like, as long as you have royal connections, then you'll be successful. And every which way, everyone around the royal family, they approve otherwise, because a lot in the British press are just like, oh, it's because of Harry and Meghan's royal collections, it's because of their title, it's because of their this, and because everything royal is the only reason that they succeed in any way, shape, or form. And here is Queen Camilla's daughter, Laura Lopes, who is business is closing. It's just like, well, this girl's mama has been at least married to Charles for how many years? Now she's queen. You would think her mama being queen of England, that would give her business a boost. But here we are. Queen Camilla's daughter, Laura Lopes, to seek king's help as she suffers major blow. Laura Lopes forced to shut down her business after a tough few years. Guess royal connection doesn't quite give you all the success, does it? Queen Camilla's daughter, Laura Lopes, who has reportedly been forced to shut down her business after a tough few years, may seek help from the king and may seek the king's help for a future venture. Laura and her husband, Harry, established a fashion boutique 8 years ago with a group of friends, including sister-in-law Mima Lopes, Chanel McCoy, wife of horse racing legend Sir Tony and Emily Hembrow. Camilla's daughter's boutique was based in Hungerford, Berkshire. I guess that's around where Kate, there in the Berkshire, right? Kate Middleton's family. And the couple believed it would make a fortune. Yeah, when they started it, they believed this would make a fortune. With Laura previously saying, there's a lot of cash in this area. So he and Harry, her husband, was thinking this could be it. However, the couple and their pals have now shut up the shop. A spokesperson confirmed it is with heavy heart that we have to announce the closure of Mojo and McCoy at the end of the year. The last few years have been very tough, who have been tough for everyone in the retail industry. We were hoping to move the store to a better location, but sadly, that didn't work out. And again, you look, especially with entrepreneurs and stuff, no matter who you are, no matter what your family relations are, it is tough. I know it is tough. It is hard, and it's always sad when someone, even, yes, she has ties and she has connections and her mama is now queen. It is still painful when you have to shut something you love and something you had so much hope. And I mean, I think we can all understand that. You start something with great hopes and thinking, this is going to be it. This will be it. And then you have to close it because it didn't work out the way you think it would. And so it's always difficult. And, but that said, this again goes to show that royal connections ain't all it's cracked up to be. I mean, we saw Kate Middleton's family, bankrupt, and now people are like embarrassing them for owing money. This is now closed. We've seen Peter Phillips and all, whether it's the rugby guy and Zara, I'll never remember. I think I deliberately just don't know or never remember his name. Mike, I think his name is, and Zara. I mean, they're always scrounging around looking for their next thing to promote and all of that stuff. Royal connections in so many ways have not bring these people success. And Harry and Meghan, in the short time they've gone, have been the most successful. I mean, we saw Prince Edward until he was completely railroaded by Prince Charles, tried to do the same thing and ended up being a bust and have to run back to the royal fold. So it's, again, this whole idea that Harry and Meghan are only successful because of royal family and their connections. And yes, I know Harry's in a different position than her, but she does have a lot of connections. And the people that were partners with her also have a lot of connections. And so you would think with all the connection that they have, including the royal name and her mama being queen, even though it's been hard, you would think people want to go shop at some place they think the queen. And again, it's another example of these titles and stuff does not guarantee things are going to be successful. And a lot of times it's proven, even with charities and stuff, you see, a lot of Kate's ones are closing, and it's just like, oh, but I thought since they have a royal connection and they have a royal patronages and all of that stuff, it's like, no, it doesn't do much. Lottie's like, where is Peter Phillips? Nobody ever talked about him. Did his wife leave him? Lottie is funny. Yeah, I think they, if I'm not mistaken, I think they already got a divorce. And he is doing something about something. I saw something about him doing something, and I didn't care enough to figure it out, whatever it is he's doing. But he's there doing something. I mean, I don't think he's selling milk anymore, but he's doing something or the other. Don't care enough to check. And the Telegraph put out this obviously the end of year, funny, Harry talks about it in Spare, how he hated the court circular because at the end of the year, everybody tries to do all of these supposed engagements to make it look like they did a lot more work than they actually did. So they basically pad the numbers with things that are not even engagements to make it look like they were actually doing something, and he knew that and didn't want to have any part of it. And so the court circular is out. And so, of course, the tabloid press, I always call the Telegraph a glorified tabloid. Even people are like, it's not a tabloid. I'm like, look, their reporting is very much tabloid. So I can't be convinced that they're not a tabloid. So anyways, they're trying their hardest to make it look like they're actually, quote unquote, working. So the title is Hardest Working Royals. And you're like, I wouldn't put hardest and working next to royals, but that's just me. And if you look under the picture, it says royal dedication. Like, that wouldn't put that word either, you know. And so the Telegraph is like, the majority of the day-to-day engagements are now carried out by those well into or approaching retirement age, with the Duchess of Edinburgh now 58 and the Duke of Edinburgh now turning 60 next year. The Waleses have deliberately chosen to focus on fewer patronages, hoping to use their power to shine light on issues close to their heart to make a bigger difference. Traditionalists have raised questions over who will pick up the numerous daily visits around the country in the newly slimmed down monarchy, with the Duke of Sussex departed and the Duke and Duchess of Sussex departed and their children of and the children of the Princess Royal, the Duke of York, and the Edinburgh not working members of the family. In other words, the other people are totally fine without royals coming to mess up their day and pretend they're doing something. I'm sure the rest of the country is perfectly fine. They do not have to pay for royals coming, and then have to mess up their traffic and all of that stuff. They are perfectly fine. But again, it's so funny with the Waleses deliberately choosing to do few. And of course, as we said, we were talking about yesterday, Prince William is already envisioning his father kicking the bucket and then what his monarchy would look like. And his 5 points, one of the thing was reducing their engagements, reducing the number of patronages, kicking out the Commonwealth, which I'm hoping that members of the Commonwealth have heard that and have decided to pull out before this craziness happened. And it's like, I don't know why they're there in the first place, but I would assume by now they'd be like, okay, it's time to abandon this nonsense called the Commonwealth, because this ain't make any sense whatsoever. And it's not common, it's not beneficial to anybody other than the royals. And now, you don't want to be sitting there until they have to like kick you out the door. So, but anyways, so these are the engagements on the right. And this is, Princess Anne, obviously, she's always been the one that's doing the most, and nobody knows what she does, but she does a whole ton of engagements every year. Nobody knows I've never seen an impact report. I don't know what exact impact she has on any of the charities she does. Nothing. There is literally nothing. We just know she goes to a lot of events and a lot of, things, and nobody knows what she does. And it's just like, well, if you don't see an impact report, how do you know it's, yes, she does a lot of busy work, but what is the impact? Has anybody seen? And so I'm like, okay. King Charles, at least we know some of it with some of his charities, especially the his charity that benefits inner city's kids and all of that stuff. And so at least we see that. What is it? The Princess Trust or whatever. I think it's now called the King's Trust, because I think they changed it because William is not is not interested in taking it over. And obviously Harry is not, so they changed it to the King's Trust, so it stays with him. And not that if I were Harry wanting to do anything with any of those, because we know, especially the King's Trust is part of that whole cash for access, cash for honors mess. I wouldn't want anything to do with any of those things, any of Charles's charities. So I think Harry and William are rightfully, I would give William this, rightfully staying far away from those things, because I wouldn't want them either. And so, but it's funny looking at this. It's like it's Princess Anne and the King, doing 557 engagements, 425. Duke of Edinburgh, 297. The Queen. It's so funny when I saw the Queen, I was just like, the Queen has been dead since 2022. I completely forgot about Camilla. It took me a minute to like, oh, they mean Camilla. It was so weird to see the Queen, and I was like, but the Queen is dead, and I forgot Camilla was there. It's just like, and then we got Sophie doing 219, and then we come to Prince William, 172, doing the same amount as the Duke of Gloucester, that elderly man. He's the same amount of engagements. And then you got way down, we got Kate doing only a few more than the Duchess of Gloucester, an elderly woman. And it's just nonsense. It is so much nonsense with this, and so William and Kate are just, they are insistent of not do, and they know they have the tabloid press and they're not gonna press them on that. And then you look at this and it's like, oh well, at least she did a 457 busy appointments or busy work, and I guess that's decent. Except when you're the Republic, and you know how the Republic likes to put these things into hours and days and weeks. I mean, last year they did a whole thing when we looked at their engagement, and then I picked up on that, and we looked at their engagement, how it laid out from January to, I think it was May. Actually, it was earlier this year. We laid it out, and they pretty much work like 3 days a week, and usually the engagements are like 45 minutes. And so, but when you lay out and you go through the court circular and you lay out what they're actually doing in terms of regular people's hours and days, and you realize King Charles worked, when you put it there, and that's probably even being generous, he worked a total of 2 months, just over 2 months of work in a whole year. Camilla, just over a month of work, and just over, over 2 months. William, not even a month of work. Kate, even worse. Edward, a little over a month. Sophie, about a month. That's all they have done. A total of 6.6 months out of the year. The whole of them worked. And it's just like, are you kidding? And again, if you think of these engagements, he was even kind. He says, assuming the average length of the engagement was an hour, it's usually 45 minutes. Many are no more than 20 minutes. And a lot of them are phone calls. And usually these engagements are wherever they are, just in that general area. And they will do few of them where they fly off somewhere, or they take, maybe take a train somewhere. Very, very, very few. And so the Republic says, we pay William, because again, he's the next king. And they're like, well, let's focus on him. We pay William more than 22 million a year from the Duchy of Cornwall. That means he gets more than 127,000 pounds an hour. Here are hours, days, weeks that they carry out engagements, and that's over here. That's right. So William was hanging out with his friend out there, Trump pretending he's selling homeless magazines. 127,000 pounds he made in that hour, 45 minutes, whatever he was out there. That's right. 127,000 pounds to cosplay homeless people. It just... it's unbelievable, and nobody says anything. No one says a word. And of course, if you look at the other sheet that we were just looking at, of course they had to put Harry in there so they could put a 0 at the bottom. Of course, even though the man is on another continent, why did they put Harry there? They need to have him at the bottom, and they need to have a 0 there. It's a visual, and it's just, yeah. You would think there'd be protests. You would think there'd be people be like, no, this is ridiculous. But there is none. There is absolutely no protest. I mean, you lay it out like this, you're like, yeesh, really? Look at the work, the so-called work that they, you can't call it work. I think it was Republic said they don't work. They just literally, the people, they go to these engagements, they just literally show up to the end and just attend the engagement. They don't do any work. The people who are there, the ones are setting up and all of that stuff, they're the ones doing the work. The staff is doing the work. They just show up and attend. That's all they do. And it's considered work. So, and again, as Harry said, at the end of the year, they pack in a bunch of things onto the court circular that's not even engagements to make it look better than it was. And so you could only imagine what it looked like before they started packing stuff into this at the end. I mean, unbelievable. And again, as William says, when he's king, even this little amount of, again, William worked just a little under a month and Kate worked even less, like half a month, a little over half a month. They're going to even be doing less. And you're going to be paying them over 100 million pounds to do even less than that when he is king. I'm just, I don't know how that's sustainable. I don't know how you sustain that. So It'll be interesting. Lord keeps us all alive. It'll be interesting watching it. Very interesting. What else is happening? This. I never even knew about this. I did not know. Again, I only started following the Sussexes at the baby shower. So a lot of the stuff and the reporting before, I didn't know about. Like in 2016, I had no idea. I didn't know about Meghan. I didn't know anything about her life. But there's this guy on the left. He's a hockey player, Michael Del Zotto. He did a recent interview. I guess it was a podcast, and he was talking about Meghan. And apparently back in 2016, he took this photo at the bottom, that's bottom left, with Meghan and one of her cast members who I guess he's a friend of Rick, I guess the cast members, Meghan's co-star's name is. And so they were hanging out with him and they took this photo. And so, of course, this photo was on the internet. And he said around the time that Meghan started dating Harry, the British press descended on Canada. And he had people, reporters showing up after, like he said I think he was leaving a practice somewhere in Vancouver or something. And reporters showed up because I guess they saw that photo, showed up and basically almost accosted him and asking him, if he was dating Meghan. He said that there were other cars there with all these paparazzi, just like, it was like it freaked him out. His fellow players, they were like, "What's going on?" And so it was like really crazy with all this paparazzi and all that wanting to find out about his supposed relationship with Meghan, who all they did was take a photo, and they were friends because he was friends with Rick, and they were just friends. And not only did they do that and was harassing him about this supposed relationship with Meghan, they got his mother's phone number. How did these people get his mother's phone number and was calling her up to ask her about this supposed relationship with Meghan? And I was just like, are you serious? I heard that. I was just like, are you serious? I shouldn't have been shocked, but I didn't know about any of this stuff. Kim is like saying that they also went to his mom's house. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so, and if you look at this little blurb from the Sun, what it is they want to write there. When you read this, what it is they want to write. And I'm not even going to read it, but I put it there because, this is what they thought of Meghan and how they were reporting about her. And she is this, almost loose woman that's just with, anybody. And it was just like, are you serious? And so it just goes, again, when this actor was saying that this tabloid paid him, or at least wanted to pay him $75,000 or something like that, thousand to say that he had a relationship with Meghan, and he obviously turned it down. And you see stuff like this, and it's just like, and then they were going in and even talked about that they were also saying that she was with this golfer guy, Rory, somebody who plays golf. And it's just like, oh my gosh. And so when you think of, we're just talking about David Sherborne, is just this kind of crazy aggressive where how would they get this man's mother's phone number and show up at her doorstep? It is just, and it's so funny because for them to even do it to David, where they would doorstep him, he is a lawyer. And they didn't care. And they were doing it to him. And it's just like, these people it's like they're vultures. Unbelievable. And you can see these are like some of the teams that he was playing. So I think he was, when I looked at the timeline, it looked like he was playing with the Philadelphia Flyers when this picture was taken. So he may have come into play with whichever team, Vancouver or Toronto, wherever this picture was taken. He came into Canada. He's actually Canadian, but he was playing for Philadelphia at the time. And so he came in to play there. And then he actually, in 2017, actually, when Harry started dating Meghan, he actually started playing for the Vancouver Canucks. And so that's where Harry and Meghan were a few weeks ago, and because that's where Invictus is going to be at the where the Canucks play right now is part of what that's actually going to be part of the Invictus Games. I think they're going to be doing the regular events there. So, but it was very much just like, wow, I didn't know, I'd never heard of this story. I had no idea about him, but it's very interesting to go back and see just the horror of what the press were doing and saying. And yes, and if you look at look at who this was that was writing it. Emily Andrews. Very interesting. Emily Andrews. I mean, and these people would swear to you up and down that they never abused Meghan, that they were fine, that they were fair, their reporting was fair. They would swear to you up and down. And then you go back and you see their names on the byline. It's just like, hello. Just like unbelievable. But anyways, moving on. It was very interesting. I'm like, I had never heard of this story before. It's just like, wow. And so anyway, so moving on from that, going back to the Waleses, it's very interesting to me when how the British press, I find it always amazing me. And no matter how much I see it happen, it always still amazes me how horrendous these people are in their reporting and all of that stuff, and the things that they choose to report on, the things that they choose not to report on. This is one story. If this was happened with if this happened with the Invictus Games, we know how much they would, they would go after the Invictus Games, even when nothing is going on. Like they were trying to say that, oh, Invictus is having all these problems and all of that stuff. And Invictus isn't having any money problems. And they were trying, the Daily Mail is trying to make up all of this mess about the Invictus Games when there's nothing there. And so, but in the meantime, there's all this stuff about Earthshot, and that even if they report about it, they're not making a big stink. It's just report it and then bury it. At least they can say, well, we did report it, but then they bury it. But if it's something to do with Sussexes, they try to blow it up to make it into something that is not. One of the things that's happening was this depressing reality behind Prince William's Earthshot Prize. The same day Earthshot awarded $1.2 million to startup Nutpla and its petroleum-free seaweed packaging. Notifications to curb plastic production failed. Negotiations to curb plastic production failed miserably. And so it's about the countries coming together and trying to figure out ways to curb plastic production, and they couldn't agree on. And as with everything these days, the US is the one that basically said no and reneged on everything, and then it went bust. And so the same day that Earthshot Prize gave this award of $1.2 million, of course, they're not, if we know how Earthshot works, they don't get the $1.2 million right away. They get little chunks of it like a year later, and over, I think, 5 years or something like that we talked about before. But the same day they got that, at least they were awarded that money. The same day this whole thing fell through. It says, in a celebrity-crusted ceremony in Boston, this was when they did it in Boston last year. In a celebrity-crusted ceremony in Boston on last week's startup, Nutpla received one of the coveted $1.2 million award from Prince William's Earthshot Prize for developing a biodegradable plastic alternative out of seaweed. We're hoping to make a single-use plastic to a thing of the past, one of the founders said in a video introduced by David Beckham. Nutpla's small team cheered wildly from London as the award was announced, and the audience was treated to a video about Nutpla's remarkable discovery. You guys have gone to the kitchen experiment to a potentially world-changing solution, BBC radio host Clara Amfo said. Meanwhile, in Punta del Este, Uruguay, the same... Welcome to New York's sound on the outside, sorry. Meanwhile, in Punta del Este, Uruguay, the same evening, the first meeting of the UN Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee, or INC, to develop a binding agreement to reduce plastic pollution around ended in failure. More than 40 countries of a so-called high ambition coalition, including European Union members, including European member states, Uruguay, Burkina Faso, and the Republic of Korea and others, had pressed for instituting a mandatory global restriction on plastic production. The United States, as always, along with a few other top plastic and petrochemical producing countries, opposed this, suggesting instead that efforts be purely voluntary voluntary and country by country. So because of the US, this whole thing went a bust, and the same day that they got this award for this, no agree. At least all of these countries, well, at least some of these countries want to go ahead and do the, getting rid of plastic, banning plastics, and of course the United States, as usual, being contrarian, decided nope, let it be country by country. Meaning we just want to make plastic, and we don't want to be bothered by it. And so, in spite of this, this organization getting $1.2 million, it's pretty much not going anywhere. And again, if this was something, and again, it's not the organization's fault. It's not the people who have developed this seaweed alternatives fault. It's the countries like the United States. But it's just wild that it's happened, this whole thing, and you build up, and this is your great award. And then the same day, everything goes bust. And so whatever happens to this company, I don't know if they'll continue. I don't know what the deal is, but it's very... It's very interesting that this happened on the same day. And again, if it was something with Earthshot, this would have been widely reported in the press. And also this, I didn't even know this until today. It was just like, oh, this again, if you look at how they report about Invictus Games or anything that Harry and Meghan are associated with, how they try to destroy it and try to pick any negative. I mean, look at what they tried to do to better up and everything. Trying to destroy it or pick it apart for every little thing and destroy it. You would be hard pressed to hear at this story in any tabloids, and even if it is, they would put it there. No, I think I saw someone put a screenshot that it was in the Express, but nobody's talking about it. Everybody's kind of just like, oh yeah, we put it, but then we hide it. Shakira quits Prince William's Earthshot Prize after $13 million tax row. She was one of the judges and for Earthshot Prize. And royal sources say Danny Alves has also completed his term as judge. He didn't complete any term. They had to quit. Why? Because he's in jail. It's just like Shakira. The singer Shakira and the footballer Danny Alves have stepped down as judges for Prince William's Environmental Earthshot Prize. The Colombian star reached a settlement with Spanish prosecutors last month to avoid prison sentence for allegedly defrauding the state of 14.5 million euros or 12.6 million pounds. Shakira, 46, who has a second tax fraud investigation pending with Spanish authorities, has been an Earthshot Prize Council member since its inception in 2020. Sources said that she completed her term this year, but an announcement of this year's finalists issued by Kensington Palace on September 19 listed her as a judge. Fellow judge, including Queen Rainier and of Jordan and Sir David Attenborough, and the actress Cate Blanchett, who joined Prince William in Singapore this month for the ceremony. Royal sources also said the former Brazilian and Barcelona footballer had completed his term as an Earthshot Council member. Alves, 40, who has been in custody in Spain since his arrest in January, is to stand trial for an alleged sexual assault last December. And so they are claiming like, oh, no, they have completed their term being council member, but there is no, there is no evidence that they actually can. Before, for example, Alves, before his prison sentence, or at least his jail sentence, that he had stepped down, he was just in jail and can't do it. And so obviously now they're like, well, no, no longer with the company or with Earthshot. And then Shakira, which I feel like for the last how many years she has been in and out of Spanish court with with tax evasion and all of that stuff charges. And so again, if any of these two people, with whether it's the tax evasion and also alleged sexual assault, if these people were part of any organization for the Sussexes, what would the reporting have been? We know what they would be saying. There was even this guy, this shoe guy that Meghan, I think, bought one of her shoes from. They tried to attach his because I think there was some either sexual charge against him or something. They tried to attach him and was using Meghan's name for somebody that she just bought shoes from. Imagine if this guy was part of, doing something with Archwell or any of the organization that the Sussex is attached to, what the press would be. And here this, tax evasion, sexual assault, and you could hardly hear it. And even if it's in the press, it's so low key that you wouldn't even know it's there because nobody is really promoting it. And so again, just the, bias in reporting, double standard in reporting, it's ridiculous how they would hide. And again, it goes back to what Harry and Meghan said. They would lie to protect. They would lie and do whatever, including the royal family and the press would lie to protect William. They would never tell the truth to protect the Sussexes. I mean, it's true for the royal family, and it's true for the Sussex. It's true for the press. It's just amazing. This thing would have been all over. There would have been days and days and days of reporting about this because this is big news. Once again, somebody who, involved in sexual assault is connected to the royals. And again, money issues connected to the royals. And it's sort of like it's there, but then swept under the rug. Nobody knows. Let's not promote it. Nobody knows. It's not the Sussexes. So let's just, hide it. And just pretend, oh, no, their time was up anyway. Liars. So anyways, I'm just going to go into chat for a second and see what y'all are saying, what y'all are up to in there. Terry says, yes, I remember. That think was something to do with Steve Madden. Oh, okay. The shoe thing. I don't know. I mean, I don't remember the name of the shoe person that had they were charged with some kind of sexual something, attack or something. And they tried to, because Meghan wore the shoes for the brand, they tried to attach it and they were using her name for something that has nothing to do with her. And this has something to do with Earthshot, and yet it's just like, oh, well, let's move on. Let's not talk about it. That's why I can never take any British media report. And like, they're not journalists, so I can't even say journalists. So yeah. Let's see. Terry said, if it was Harry and Meghan, it would have been plastered all over social media and in the tabloids. Exactly. It would have been all over. And it would have been for days and days and days. They will have all kinds of stories made up about this and the Sussexes. Let's see. I'm just scrolling up. Mia Sylvester said her ex-husband is not talking to no one, and I applaud him for that. Meghan, go and still go to so much hate. He's better hold his mouth. Okay, I think I understand what you mean, but yeah, neither one of them has ever spoken about their relationship, and I think they both respect each other for that. I wouldn't expect him to. I mean, people change, but I don't expect either one to ever talk about their relationship. I don't remember Meghan. I don't remember ever reading anything that Meghan has ever spoken about her past relationships. And it's so funny because she was dating, I think it was either Trevor or the chef guy she was dating, that Meghan is still great friends with the mom. And the mom, I remember people posting screenshots of their mom defending Meghan on social media, that she's still friends with the mom. So yeah, they and I don't remember if it was Trevor or the chef guy that she was in a relationship. One of their mothers, I don't remember. Again, I wasn't following back then, so I don't know all the ins and outs. But people had posted screenshots of her defending Meghan. Yeah, let's see. I'm sorry, MGS says, hi, MGS says, they need anything bad so they can have an excuse to bully Meghan. Very true. They don't see her as human, and because it has been okay generally by the public, they will continue. Very, very, very true. Very true. And now it's like they're not even trying to hide anymore. They don't even pretty much, they don't really, especially, for example, like with the Omid Scobie's book, they're not even saying like Harry. It's almost like Meghan's biography. Meghan. It's just, yeah. April May says they were desperately trying to find something devastating on Meghan so they can eliminate her as a prospect of marriage to Harry. It always boggles my mind with the royal family and the press. I don't understand how you can allow, this group of people so close that they feel like they have a say in your relationships with your children, relationships with who they marry or not. This boggles my mind that you can allow people into your life and into your world so that they literally feel like they can dictate to you. Like, I can't even imagine allowing my mother to dictate to me what breakfast I eat. That's for some people that I don't even know to dictate to me who I marry or how my relationship, like, it's so foreign to me. And I think because I've always grown up so independent, like it always it's hard to process. It's really hard to process that you allow these people. Like, I don't even know how Harry survived that. Like, I don't know how he survived until he and Meghan bailed out of there. Like, I don't even know how you do it. So anyway, it's just like, shoosh. That is crazy to me. So, Lottie says it was Roy. Yeah, she is friends with his mom. Is it Roy? Roy? That's his name? It sounds a little bit familiar, but it seems like it was anyway, maybe it was Roy. I don't know. I hadn't gone back. I remember Trevor's name, but I couldn't speak for the other person. Maybe it was Roy. So thank you, Lottie. Thank you. Let's see. Oh, his name is Chris. Oh, okay. It was Chris, the chef's mom. Said she was wishing Meghan was going to be her daughter-in-law. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, see, wait, is Corey? Wait a minute, is it Roy, Chris, or Corey? Or who is Chris? Oh wait, Chris is the chef's mom. Okay, so the chef's mom's name is Chris, and it's either Roy or Corey is his name. At some point we'll hit on the right name. So Rochelle said it's Corey, and okay, thank you guys. And Lottie says it's Roy. So one of their names, the mom, yeah. Oh, that's nice. You always like, yeah. That's like, yeah. When mom says she wished that Meghan was gonna be her daughter-in-law, yeah. Miriam says Corey. Okay, so his name is Corey. Okay. His mom mentioned that she would have been happy to go to the wedding. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, now I'm liking her. I mean, I liked it when I saw the screenshots earlier, but this is nice. So anyways, now that we know Meghan's business, Meghan's former boyfriend's mom's business. What else is there? Better Up is doing well. Better Up says, "Oh shucks, we're honored. A big thank you to Inc. For including Better Up in 2023 Best in Business list. It is wonderful to be recognized alongside companies that are transforming communities, industries, and the world." And so they're on the list and Best in Business. And when I think of the Better Up is doing wonderful work, and they're growing, and the great thing is about they're growing, they made mistakes and they're changing it and they fix it. I mean, they're doing wonderful. And I remember just earlier this year or late last year when the British press was trying all of this nasty stuff, throwing all of this nasty stuff and claiming that they had insiders saying all this horrible stuff about Better Up, all kinds of stuff to take this company down. Why? Because Harry is the chief impact officer. And, to see Better Up just totally just put their heads down and focus on their business and not pay attention to them. And look at, they have been awarded and been included in all of these wonderful things. They're doing great. They're doing what they need to be doing. And Harry is still the chief impact officer there, and they're doing great. And so again, just how the press is just, it's really a mafia. I can't call them a press, really. I can't call them reporters. They're really not. They're simply mouthpieces for the palace, and to go after and to destroy anything and anyone who they feel like would challenge the palace and to make, and that would make the palace look bad. Because if Harry is succeeding outside of it, that means, well, why do you need a royal family? And if you don't need a royal family, it'll take money away from them. And that's what this is all about. So kudos to Better Up. Kudos to Prince Harry for being a part of an incredible organization. So really happy about that. And finally, Time gave us the person of the year, and that's Taylor Swift. And so, I mean, I'm not into Taylor Swift. I don't really pay attention to Taylor Swift, but I'm like, great. Seemed like a really wonderful young lady for all I've heard of her. I don't really pay attention to her, but she seemed like a really great person. But, in the year of when we are dealing with war and we're dealing with people who are literally putting their lives on the line to bring us the truth, they are facing all kinds of, doing it with bombs falling on their heads, families destroyed, families murdered, literally targeted and murdered, including one of them today. One of the reporters who he had an opportunity to leave and decided he's going to stay in Gaza with his fellow reporters here and bring us the truth in spite of the horror that's going on in Gaza right now. And this morning, they targeted his 90-year-old father. I guess they assumed he was there with his father. They targeted their house and killed his father. Thankfully, he wasn't there, but they killed his 90-something-year-old, I think his 91 or 92-year-old father today. And so these men and women who have literally been putting their life, the gentleman, in the middle photo, he is the one in the front on the left. His family, I don't remember, it was like 16, 17 of them. I don't remember how many of them. He was one of the first reporters to have them target his family and completely wipe out his entire family. All of them gone. And he has stayed reporting to this day. He has not given up. He had to bury all of his family and then stay there reporting every single day. These men and women are heroes. They are there reporting, and the reason we have the videos on the ground that we do is because of them. If we followed the CNNs and the MSNBCs and the CBSs of the world, we would still be believing the nonsense that Israel is. It is laughable what Israel is putting out there in the world. That's why they're being mocked on social media every day, because people are seeing the ridiculousness and the lies and the propaganda is coming. That's what the U.S. government is putting out there. That's what the lot of the mainstream press is putting out there. And thank God for these men and women who are on the ground, unedited, raw, horrendous. I have never seen photos like these or videos like these in my entire life. I think I will be scarred for the rest of my life for some of the things that I've seen the last 2 months. I don't think I'll ever get over, because I've never thought these things were possible. It just never occurred to me that you could do this to human beings before. I have never seen people behave this way before. And so for these men and women to put their lives on the line the way they are, these are our heroes. And it's funny because several people have been sharing this, so I don't know who it is that is the person that created who the first person who created these and there are a bunch of them that they put different reporters on them and different people from Palestine on them. So to those people, thank you for creating our time. These are people who have been really focused on this, and we really appreciate their work. Thank you for creating. These are our times of the year. No diss to Taylor Swift. I'm sure she's a lovely lady, and again, for what I know of her, she seems like a really great person. But in this time, these, for me personally, these are my heroes. These are the people that, for me, are the people of the year. So thank you for just telling us the truth, because I am not here for lies and propaganda. I want the truth as raw and unedited as possible, and they have given me the truth. So thank you. These are my people of the year. So anyway, that's it, guys. Let's see a couple more before we jump. And we go, let's see. Vinny Blair, going back to Rory and Corey, and Vinny is giving us the juice. He's like, Corey Vitiello is the Canadian chef. Rory McIlroy is the golfer. Oh, okay, so that's the golfer guy, Rory McIlroy. Okay, so that's the one they said. And then Corey is the chef that Meghan had a relationship with. Okay, and that's his mom, Chris. Okay, now I got it. Thank you, Vinny, for giving us the names. I appreciate it. Elizabeth says, trend Earthshot, William failure, trend on Twitter or social media, Earthshot failure. I mean, it's there. I mean, people are talking about it, but again, when you look at the press putting that out there, it's just, let's hide it. Let's not talk about it. Let's put it there, but then let's hide it so that nobody really talks about it. Let's just, cover it over with other really good news about the cable or the Waleses. Yeah, that's where we are. So yeah. Cookies and Cream, our awesome moderator, says the Unroyals and their racist minions are fixated on destroying Meghan. They need to focus on women assaulters, alleged pedophiles, toe suckers, topless photo women, etc., and the unroyal family. Yeah, well, they unfortunately for them, they're not making money off of those people. So of course they stick Harry and Meghan's name there because, well, that's how we make our money. So let's do it. That's what they're doing. So unfortunately. But anyways, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you to our awesome moderators. Lydia, Church. Wait, did I miss Lydia? I didn't see Lydia today. Lydia, you here? I didn't see you. But anyway, I don't think Lydia's here today. But anyway, thank you, Lydia. Anyway, Church Nelly, Karen M, Cookies and Cream, Black Queen, you are awesome as usual. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you also to our wonderful 2 Cents crew who support the channel monthly. Thank you so much. And to all of you who support in the chat, I appreciate so much your donations. And wait, did I see a donation that I didn't? Oh, wait a minute. I hope that I didn't miss anybody. Oh, wait, let me just scroll this for a second. I am sorry, guys, just in case, because sometimes it goes by me. I'm just going to scroll here a bit to make sure I didn't miss anyone. If anyone donated, I don't see anything. So, but thank you anyway. And I'm going to scroll through it later just in case I miss anyone. So if I missed you, I will get you next time. But anyway, thank you guys so much. I appreciate your support. And those of you who support via PayPal and Cash App, thank you very, very much. I love you all. Have a fantastic day. And I will chat with you later. Bye.